Which is the easiest? Well, that's a tough question. You know what I would say? Oh, wow. There are pluses and minuses. There are completely different skill sets, you guys, that go with different things. If you're on camera, then you know that you have to memorize your lines, and you have to memorize blocking and hitting certain marks, and knowing your lines and knowing everything you're supposed to do. In voice acting, you don't have to memorize because you're in a booth. You got the script in front of you. You can walk in and literally look at the script and just glance over it, maybe read the scene, and then determine, you know, how you want to do it and do it. So so in that sense, on-camera acting is more difficult for stage acting. When Bobby and I did theater in college, you had to memorize the whole flippin' script. You know what I mean? From the moment you step out on stage, you got to know all your lines from the beginning to the end, not just a scene. And you're working with other people. But you have to know your blocking. Well, I'm supposed to say this line when I get over here. So you got to memorize all those things. You don't need to do that with voice acting. So on-camera stage acting is more difficult in that respect. However, the flip side is, with voice acting, you've got to match the mouth movements as best you possibly can, while at the same time delivering a performance that's somehow believable. Some people can match the flaps perfectly, but they can't convey the emotion. Other people can convey great emotion, but they can't match the mouth movements. So to be able to do both of those and make it seem natural at the same time is one of the more difficult things. In fact, I know a lot of actors who are really great actors, but then you get them into a voice booth to do a character, an animation character, you can't do it. In fact, you know what? I don't mean to pick on any Hollywood stars, but yes, I do. How many of you guys have seen big Hollywood animated movies with big famous people in them and they stink? Yeah. Do you know why? Have you ever thought why? No, the reason why, you guys, is because those actors depend on many physical things to communicate with. There are certain actors, they have just little looks, or the way they carry themselves, or a little facial expression. That's their thing. And they communicate volumes with their face. You don't have your face to use as a tool when you're voice acting. All you have is the voice. So a lot of their performances come off very stale and very flat because they're used to communicating with body language, facial expressions, gestures. You don't have any of that when you're voice acting. So that would be the part of voice acting that's a little more difficult. Okay, all the way in the back, the very, very back, waving. What is your question? Can you use your outdoor voice? No, all the way in the back, sweet girl. No. You're next. Yes?
How did you feel when you got the part of Zero at
I love Zero. Oh my gosh. Can I tell you, Michelle? Come here. What do you mean, why? Just do it. This is Michelle. Michelle was with me when I got the call about playing Zero, and I'm going to let her tell the story. Do it. Okay. Well, okay. We were at her parents' house for Christmas, and right before we left for Christmas break, I auditioned for Vampire Night. And I auditioned for Kaname, I auditioned for Ido, and I auditioned for Zero. So we left, and we're in Colorado, and suddenly, I mean, I was like hanging on my phone, like every minute, I'm like, Nicole, Nicole. And suddenly, I had a voicemail. And I was like, how did I miss this call? Remember this? I was like, wait a minute, my phone didn't even ring. And it was an 818 number. That's Los Angeles. And I'm like, oh no. And I looked at it and it said bang Zoom. And I'm like, oh no. So I looked at her and I said, all right, here it is. We're going to find out. And I started listening to the voicemail. And it was Eric Sherman from Bang Zoom. And he said, hey Vic, Eric Sherman, Bang Zoom. He said, calling about Vampire Night. He said, I promise you, I know how much you were looking forward to being a part of this series. I promise you, at some point, we will work together at some point. And I'm sorry because I know how much you were hoping to be a part of Vampire Night. Am I lying? What was I doing?
His face as he's listening went.
I cried. Not like blubbering crying, but here, I'm like, and I looked at her and I said, I didn't get anything. And I'm getting sad thinking about it. And I'm still listening to Eric Sherman's voicemail right now, as I'm telling her, I didn't get anything. He's telling me someday we're going to work together. I can't believe it. And then he says, we will work together someday, Vic. In fact, we're going to work together real soon because you'll be playing Zero and Ichiro. And I was like, so he said, you'll be playing Zero and Ichiro. And I was like, yeah! Zero! Who the heck is Ichiro? I didn't know. And then I get into the studio, I'm like, yeah, sometimes Zero, right? This is awesome. Who's Ichiro? And they're like, that's his twin brother. I'm like, no way! He's got a twin brother? It's awesome! So, as an actor, you gotta know how much fun that was. To get to play two characters who literally like talk to each other and fight with each other and shoot each other with guns. I hope I didn't give any spoilers away right there. What? One of them shoots the other one with a gun? No, that never happened. Yes, it did.